What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full Houndour evolution team. Today, I'll be using 2 Houndour and 2 Houndoom on the same team. We've got the ability Early Bird, Flash Fire, and Unnerve, so nothing super powerful there. These Pokemon are very glass cannon-like, so they do dish out a fair bit of damage, but they cannot take a hit at all. So it was a tricky team to do, but I had some really good battles, and I really hope you enjoy. First random battle here, this one is against Roxanne. Is anyone's favorite Pokemon of all time Houndour, or do you like Houndoom? Let me know in the comment section. I really like this Pokemon. I love the little skull design in it with the dog. It looks really cool. So first Pokemon, we've got a counter here. Now, I guess the opponent didn't bring their entire team because they've got some pretty good counters here, and we've got a little Timmy Terror on the first go with a Ogerpon Wellspring. So obviously they just want to press the A button 4 times in a row. Now, this Houndour set that I've got is really good. It's a true PIMPNITE special, and it's actually a very good set that I use, and I beat a lot of competitive Pokemon with it. So let me show it to you. So we're going to focus as the item, obviously. This has got a combination of 3 ways to take Pokemon out. The first combination is Counter, right? Which works very well against any physical moves. Now, Houndour lacks anything like Mirror Coat, so I thought it actually gets the move Comeuppance right. So Comeuppance is like Mirror Coat and Counter, except it works on physical and special moves, right? The only drawback is it does 1.5 times damage instead of 2 times, so it doesn't do as much damage as those moves. The other move is Destiny Bond, right? So those 3 moves work absolutely wonderfully together, and I was actually able to take out an Ogerpon and a Yanmega with 1 Houndour, so that was an incredible start to the battle there, and I did this, a lot of the time against many teams too. Obviously, there's clear weaknesses, people can set up Stealth Rock and stuff that, easy counters and stuff that anyone could do if they've used those Pokemon. But outside of those counters, if you could get rid of them, it works very well. Next Pokemon is Iron Treads. Now, I did see this in the team preview. I thought you might set up Stealth Rocks turn 1, and they did it on the next turn here. But, I was able to make very good use of that. Also, even with Stealth Rocks up on the field with max speed and max speed, I could sometimes even get a Destiny Bond KO too. So Stealth Rocks weren't 100% a counter. I still was able to, perform a bit with it. So we got the Mew coming in here, and I'm going to go for counter. I thought they may go for an Earthquake or a physical move. I had nothing to lose, right? Now, this set was exactly the same. However, instead of Flamethrower, I had Super Fang. Now, the reason I did that is I wanted to make the opponent think that it's a different style of moveset, not the same one. After they got tricked and trolled by the first Houndour, usually they were on they were looking and thinking, how am I going to get around this? They were very aware of what I was going to do. So that was a little strategy there to try and make them think it was a different set. So this Mew is going to be setting up all the nasty plots in the world against this Houndour. Houndour is such a powerful Pokemon. You got to set up 6 nasty plots. You got to set up 3 Sword Dancers. You got to go for a Terror right after that. You got to set up like Stealth Rocks. You got to get Gloomore out. You got to bring Cleaver in. All those sort of things. Man, I had all the opponents that I battled against do that. They were going so try hard. So they got Draining Kiss on their set, which is a bit of a problem. However, I do have Destiny Bond on this set, so I'm able to actually outspeed this Mew. It seems to be more of a tanky set there with Nasty Plot and Draining Kiss. And I was hoping the Mew would attack me this turn so I could, take it down. And I did. So Mew is going to give Houndour a kiss, but at the cost of losing its life there. So Houndours have taken out Ogerpon, Yanmega, and Mew. Pretty impressive, right? And I didn't really even attack. I just used status moves and counter and Comeuppance. Pretty cool, right? So that is my Houndour set. It's very good. For sure. You can squeeze a lot out of some Pokemon if you really want to. Next Pokemon is Okie Doggy. So I've got my Houndoom now. This is my physical Houndoom set, and surprisingly, it wasn't all that bad. Most people run a special Houndoom. My other one is a special set, but I wanted to give the physical one a try. So this has got Life Orb, Stellar, Sucker Punch and Temper Flare combination, and I've also got Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs was there for fighting type Pokemon. You know, this team had so many easy weaknesses to get around it, right? So I really had to have some good coverage. So we got that Stellar Houndoom, and I'm going to go for Psychic Fangs right off the bat here. There's no way I'm going to set a Howl up. And that completely destroys us. So the homie Boney got boned, and after that feint, that switch got snapped in half like a Kit Kat. They was absolutely salty and fuming after that. Oh my, imagine losing to that team with the Pokemon they had. The video deserves a like just for that, right? They got played like a fiddle the entire battle. All right, let's get on to battle number 2. Now, this is a random battle against Blake. Now, I had a battle against this person, and then they dropped a comment on one of my videos saying, you know, thanks for the battle and stuff. So, you know, if you're watching this video, thanks for the battle, man. This was a good one. So, they did have 6 Pokemon, but they brought 4, which was cool. And we've got a Jolteon called I Am Speed. So, you know, when I seen that nickname, I was like, I bet you they've got a Quick Feet and Toxicor one, or, you know, Quick Feet, you know, Flame Orb, right? So I do have the comeuppance strategy here, and that is the end of Jolteon. The only way I would have outsped that would probably be with my physical, you know, Sucker Punch set. So in comes Pawmont. Now, this is a problem because this has all kinds of priority, and it's going to be faster than Houndour. So I did think about having Terra Ghost there, but I thought, nah, I'm not going to waste my Terra Ghost. They're going to disrespect me with Ice Punch, though. So I remembered that. I was like, all right, I've got to get them back for that. So I'm going to bring on to my second Houndour now. I've got Comeuppance, and I've also got Counter. So the cool thing is you can get a feint with Counter, and then they'll be like, oh, well, they don't have anything to get rid of special moves, and you can use Comeuppance, right? So it's a good way. And by the time they've realized that, they've already lost 2 Pokemon. So, you know, if you like Houndour, you could even do this set on Houndoom, right? It's a good troll set. So we're going to go for Counter, and that is the end of Pawmon. So, look, if I didn't have these, I want to say these Houndours were probably the most important Pokemon on my team, even more than Houndoom, right? Because they got rid of all my counters. So in comes 12 eggs here. I guess they got the shiny and 12 eggs. That's some good luck. And they're going to go for Nasty Plot. So Nasty Plot is going to be better than Raichu because it's a fast Pokemon. So I went for Destiny Bond here. I knew that I wouldn't outspeed Raichu. I even thought they may go for Fake Out or something like that, or Volt Switch. But I'm definitely thinking they're going to go for another Nasty Plot this turn because they don't want to, you know, feint to the Destiny Bond. So what I did, I thought I need to actually get some damage on this because I've got 2 Houndooms left. Now my special Houndoom will not be able to outspeed Raichu, and it's going to get one-shotted, right? Because, you know, Houndoom is not a bulky Pokemon. So I thought, if I can get some Super Fang damage and do that. Then they went for a Disrespect Grass Knot. So that was Ice Punch and that was Grass. I'm like, man, I got to get them back for that, right? So I've got 2 Houndooms there. So the only way for me to stay in this battle right now is to use my physical Houndoom, which you got to see. This has Unnerve too. So I've got Stellar and I've got Sucker Punch. Now, Raichu's defense isn't the greatest in the world. Its special defense is a lot better. So I thought, you know, Stellar Sucker Punch with a Life Orb. I already did some damage with Super Fang already. Thank goodness, because this definitely wasn't a one-shotting. So I'll go for this, and I need to take out the Raichu threat, right? I don't want to get swept by Grass Knot. So that is going to be the end of Raichu. I'd say they were just going for, I don't know, Thunderbolt or something like that. Their last Pokemon is going to be Candy Floss, the Ampharos. They actually rhyme pretty well. I wonder if they called it that, Candy Floss, the Ampharos. All right, so I've got Sucker Punch and Temper Flare. I went for Sucker Punch here, and, well, it did nothing, right? Ampharos has got some pretty good bulk. Now, Ampharos does have Power Gem. Power Gem almost takes me out. Very, very close. They definitely don't have max special attack because that definitely would have fainted me. So I went for Temper Flare here since I've got 1 Stellar boost on it, and I almost took it out. I was very, very close. That initial Sucker Punch didn't have a Stellar boost. I already used it up on Raichu. So it's going to finish me off with the Power Gem there. Now, my last Pokemon, I know this surprised you immensely, is Houndoom. This is my special Houndoom. So this is more of a standard set. And funnily enough, this set was good, but the other sets I got a lot of success with. They really helped me out in so many battles. So I went for a Disrespect Terra Blast. I was like, I hope it doesn't live, and I managed to take them out there. But thank you for the battle, Blake. Cool team. for sure. Let's get on to battle number 3. This is another random. We have a lot of random battles today with this team. What I try and do with my battles too, I'll have a mixture of battles. I have like random battles and I have a few against my members and stuff. So I hope you like the mixture of battles that I do. I think it keeps things interesting. So you get to see some random Pokemon trainers, and then you get to see a cool, few theme teams and stuff. I really like the mix of that lately. So we've got an Origin Pulse, and that missed. Thankfully, they went for it again, and we've got the Houndour living on its Focus Sash here. So I decided to go for Comeuppance. Now, Comeuppance is only 1.5, so I was like, oh, that's going to be close, and it just took Kyogre out. I think it just had enough health to do so. So that's a great start there, getting rid of Kyogre. Now, our next Pokemon is going to be Urshifu. So I thought, I'll throw Destiny Bond up, and I went first. I was like, yes! So Urshifu, I can use Tackle for all I care. It uses Thunder Punch, and that takes out the Houndoom. So Houndour just took out a Kyogre and an Urshifu. Only on PIMPNITE's channel, right? So that's a beautiful, beautiful start there, taking out 2 Pokemon. So I thought, well, I may as well set it. What are they going to do? Set up against it? That's fine. I'll just leave it in and they'll take it out. So they got Miraidon. Now, as you can see, Miraidon was in a lot of battles, right? And it was a very problematic Pokemon. Now, Miraidon itself has a lot of health, like base health. So I thought, gee, I don't know whether this is going to kill. I'll go for it, right? So they went for Dragon Pulse. And I went for Comeuppance again, right? It does have a Life Orb, though. So I was like, ooh, maybe that might be enough to take it out. And it did. It took out a Miraidon. So Houndour has taken out Kyogre, Urshifu, and Miraidon. I told you guys, this is a good set, right? I'm being serious. This is my competitive Houndour set. So in comes the homie Dialga. They swapped. So I think they tried to predict my Destiny Bond swap there. Then in came Skeledirge. I thought, I know what they're going to do. They're going to wait for me to attack. So I went for counter. So I would go second, right? And they outsped me and they took me out with Flame Charge. But that means their Skeledirge went down as well. So I deliberately did that to make sure I would go second. Because they thought I'd have to attack. And then Destiny Bond wouldn't be the last move used. But I used counter for negative priority, right? Next Pokemon is that, like, this team was stacked, right? You can see that. So this was really funny, right? I got Houndoom and I got the Stellar, so I thought, oh, gee, I mean, I'm probably going to get cooked here. Where did Houndoom go? So Houndoom disappeared for a sec while Zacian used Sword Dance. I just went for Temper Flare, right? I almost Stellar there. Look at that damage. That was excellent damage there. So I was really, really happy. So I'm like, I can go for Sucker Punch here. If I got Stellar Sucker Punch, I know it's not going to be very effective, but I've got Life Orb and Stellar and Stab, so that's going to do a lot. This should be enough to take out the Zacian, right? And, Zacian is... I don't know why they felt the need to get a Sword Dance up against Houndour, I mean, Zacian's already got, like, crazy attack as it is, right? So we got that Sucker Punch. We're going first. Zacian is going to go down, so this is going absolutely swimmingly. So our last Pokemon, as you know, is the Dialga. I remember too, I forced the Dialga Origin out with a Houndour, only on PIMPNITE Shadow. So I got Sucker Punch and Temper Flare. So I thought, Temper Flare I haven't used the Stellar boost for. See the little square going around it? How it's, just for anyone new, if you don't know what Stellar is, it'll actually tell you that you haven't used that attack to get the Stellar boost yet. So once you've used that type, that's it, you won't get that one initial boost after using it. So great damage there on Temper Flare, really, really good. They've got Earth Power, so Earth Power obviously is going to be enough to take out Houndoom there. I figured they'd have that, so, it's a good coverage move on even normal Dialga, right? So I've got one Pokemon left, and that's the special one. Now, this does have Fire Blast as its most powerful attack, and I thought it'd be pretty, it's going to be pretty close to whether it takes it out or not. Now, I did actually think about going for Dark Pulse. I really, really did. I was like, should I go for it to get the flinch, or should I just go straight for Fire Blast for the dub, Me living Earth Power was, they'd have to be a bulky set, right? And it's hard to know because I had that Stellar. So I went for Fire Blast and I missed. I was like, no, I really needed that hit. So Earth Power is going to hit Houndoom, and I lived it only just. It was a very, very close thing here. So I was like, I have to go for Fire Blast, right? I'm just going to go for it. And Fire Blast lands and takes the Dialga out. Damn, that was a really good dub there. Look at that team versus mine. Like, That deserves a like. Let's get some likes on this video, people. I hope you're enjoying it so far. That's our third battle. Like I said, I had some really great battles with this team. All right, this is actually a revisit from a trainer I battled yesterday. If you watched yesterday's video, this random person had an explosion team, so they invited me for a they went to re-battle again. And I was like, yeah, I'll give them another shot. So I picked my other team. So I knew they had explosion on all their Pokemon, right? So I was like, well, I'll see if I can beat them, right? I've got 2 Focus Sash Pokemon of my own. And they also have Terra Ghost, which I don't know about either. So Houndoom is going to get blown by the Metagross. Actually, that didn't sound too good. And now we've got the Houndour coming in here. So Houndour does have a Focus Sash, and it also has Terra Ghost. But I don't want to use Terra Ghost because I'm not a scumbag. I actually want to work for my wins. So I wanted to see if I could use some strategy here, right? So I thought, if I go into the other Houndour, both of these Houndours are going to be, pretty good for tanking explosions, right? So instead of going for the explosion this time, the Electrode went for self-destruct. I was like, okay, it's got both. But I was like, I wonder if they've got any other attacking moves except exploding moves. Anyway, in comes the Minior. Now, Minior, I was hoping I could maybe take that out with maybe a Destiny Bond, or maybe I could swap in Houndour, the other Houndour, and activate its Sash, and then it'll faint itself. But something happened, right? Something that was unexpected, They had Takedown. I was like, what the heck is this? So it had I have no idea what that had Takedown for. It's like, maybe they've got like Silk Scarf and Explosion, but now I was in a bit of a predicament here. I'm like, well, I thought they'd be gone by now, so there's no way I can take them out. Do I have to go for Terra Ghost here to get this, to get this W, or do I just go for Destiny Bond? I know they've got a Golem, a Lola in the back too of Galvanize, Explosion, which is an electric type, so I thought I have to go for Terra Ghost here. I have to, right? This is my only way to win this battle. So we're going to go for the Terra Ghost on their Houndour here, because now they'd shown they didn't only have explosion moves, they had other moves too. So that means there are other Pokemon have got other moves too. So I went for Comeuppance there. I thought I might go second, but they went for the explosion. So the Mineral is going to explode, and they're going to faint there. I wouldn't have done that if they only had explosion move, but since I seen Takedown, I smelled a rat right. I bet you they've got some other moves, which is fine. I was up for the challenge. So in comes the Golem, the Golem Alola. I'm going to swap that out because I feel like I might need that later on, and I want to test the waters. I want to see what move they got. So I brought my own Houndour, and they've got Rock Slides. They don't only have explosion on this. I'm like, how am I going to get around this? So I've got my other Houndour with Destiny Bond. So I thought, well, I guess I could use Destiny Bond here and faint them. That would be good. But now I'm going to give up my only Ghost-type Pokemon. That would be bad, but I don't have much of a choice. So I'm going to go for Destiny Bond here on the Golem. I don't want them to miss with Rock Slide either. I really, really don't. And they had Body Slam. So Body Slam's going to land, because they've got the Galvanize ability, right? So that means their normal type moves are going to turn into electric type moves. So that was able to, land against me. If you remember in yesterday's video when I randomly battled this person, I had the Dodrio with Terra Ground, right? And I trolled them hard. So they were getting their revenge against me. So I thought, all right, I've got one Houndoom left. Can I somehow take this Pokemon out? And it was another Golem. I was like, oh no. So I've got Sucker Punch and Psychic Fangs, which are going to do nothing. And I've got Howl too, but I thought, yeah, this is definitely going to go for an explosion. There's nothing I could do to get around this. I have to get a crit. So I went for Psychic Fangs, and I did nothing, obviously. Golem's got crazy defenses. And Golem is going to go for explosion. And, of course, that is going to take my Houndoom out. Damn it. So they got their revenge there. I guess the fly in the ointment was them having, non-exploding moves, and they didn't use them the first time. So I don't know whether they taught them to it afterwards or something, but anyway, it was a fun battle. It was good to re-battle someone, like a random person that I come across. All right, let's get on to battle number 5 here. And we're going to battle against Jiannis or Jan. Actually, I may have battled this person too the other day. It's funny because what I do with my battles, right, I'll randomly battle online and I'll do it at a certain time. but then I'll change up my time I do it, right? So I see all different people. Sometimes I will find people again and, re-battle them and stuff, which can be interesting. So we got a Moveset lead here. I got some great sucker punch damage. Watch this, right? This is pure assault. So they went for a population bomb and they only got one hit. They got one hit. So I was laughing my ass off there. And then they salty swapped after getting one hit. I don't blame him there. So then they brought in Necrozma. Oh, yeah, I have battled it. Okay, I remember they brought this Necrozma last time. So Necrozma is going to get hit hard by Sucker Punch. Now, I just missed the Sucker Punch. I thought, do I go for Temper Flare here? Or do I go for Sucker Punch again? I decided to go for the Sucker Punch. And I got some really, really good damage there. Excellent damage. And they've got Earthquakes. I thought, this is a problem. This is a really, really big problem. But I can get around it because I do have Houndour with counter. So that could be a good way to get rid of this Necrozma. Plus, Necrozma just ate a berry there, which is very bad because it's got a lot of bulk to it. So I've got Houndour. As you know, I've got Super Fang on this set. There's nothing I can do. So I went for counter, but instead of using Earthquake, they used Power Gem. No. So this is bad. Like, that's where Comeuppance would have worked, but the problem is I would have been too fast for Comeuppance to work. So I thought, they used Earthquake. That, you think they used Earthquake again. So I had to waste this Houndour and use Destiny Bond. So I would have liked to get an Earthquake counter off, then use Destiny Bond on the next Pokemon. But, it wasn't to be. So now I'm in a lot of trouble here. I'm in a lot of trouble because I've used up 2 Pokemon. I've only got 2 left, and I've only taken 1 Pokemon out right now. They've got a full team of Pokemon too, and they've got some pretty powerful ones of that. So I'm thinking, how can I get around this? The only way I can get back into this is Houndour needs to take out, at least it has to take out 2 Pokemon, right? In comes Mew, the twinkling star. Do you guys want me to sing you Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? I know you'd like that so much. Nah, you know what? I won't sing it. I don't want you to, be like running nails down a chalkboard. Twinkle, Twinkle. All right, well, we'll keep going with the narration. So we got that Focus Sash there, which is great. Mew is going to have to go down to a Destiny Bomb. There's no way I can get around it, so sadly, Houndour is going to have to be sacked there for a Destiny Bomb. But then instead of attacking, they went Transform. I was like, what? So they got to see my whole set, so I didn't expect that. It was unexpected, so I thought, wait, I know what they're going to do. So if I go counter and they go Flamethrower, it'll faint me. But instead they went Destiny Bomb to try. They thought I'd try and do that. So I went counter because that would go second and they'd faint me with Flamethrower. But it didn't work. They went Destiny Bomb themselves. So I thought, if I go Destiny Bomb here, then they might faint me if I lose the speed type. But they swapped there. So they had a chance to faint me, but they tried to I think they tried to outplay me there with thinking what I'd do, but it didn't work. So I went for Destiny Bomb here. I thought, well, what have I got to lose? Let's go Flamethrower. And I outsped the Moveset and took it out. Was that called Peace? I don't have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Next Pokemon here we've got is the... see, they had a Necrozma, and they had this in the first battle, the first time I battled them. But their other Pokemon, I believe, are different. So I went for Destiny Bond, and Moonblast is going to take out Houndour. That's really, really good, because I had really nothing for that Pokemon. And I know that I'll have, I think that was, from memory, that was like a mixed attacker. Had Superpower and Contrary and Moonblast and stuff too. So I was happy to get rid of that. My last Pokemon here is the Special Houndoom. And I had a bit of a plan, right? I had a little bit of a plan. So they brought in their Mew here. Now, I've got Dark Pulse, which is super effective, and I've got Terra Grass. Now, I haven't really got to show this set off too much because I'll admit my other Pokemon have really, really pulled most of the weight here. So this one is the special one. We've got Terra-type Grass for Flash Fire as ability, which I feel works really, really well. And we've got Mirror Herb as the item too. Now, I had Mirror Herb on there in case there was any other stat boosts and things like that I could copy. So Mew came in there, and Mew actually went for Transform because we know that Mew had Transform, right, from earlier on. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So I thought, I wonder if they'll take the bait and go for a fire move and give me a flash fire boost, and then I can get a nasty plot up here. That'll be so good. So I thought, you know what? I'm 1-3 down. Let's risk it, right? Let's risk it. I need them boosts. They took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and gave me a flash fire. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for that. So the solder's starting to build a little bit because there was a Timmy Terror right after that. And I was thinking, all right, what are you going to be? What's your Terror type going to be? And it was Psychic. So I thought, oh, okay. That's good because I can use Dark Pulse against that, or I could just use Fire Blast. I decided to go for Dark Pulse anyway, so Dark Pulse is going to take out the Mew. So that was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So that's 4 Pokemon down. Now we've got Dialga the Cherish. So Dialga is bulky, sure is. But I've got a Flash Fire plus a Fire Blast. So I thought, well, this is great. This is going to do a ton of damage. I just have to land it. And I did land it, and that completely dominated Dialga, like one shot. Easy peasy, right? Last Pokemon is going to be Ogerpon Half Flame. And, I mean, what are they going to do here? Go for a fire move? And I went for Fire Blast, and I cooked them off in one shot. And that is a nice, juicy W there. That was awesome. So, that was battle number 5. See, I told you it's some excellent battles this team. Some really, really good battles. All right, let's get on to battle number 6 here. This is a battle against Mr. T, and this was an interesting battle as well. So we've got a theme team here too. So let me know if you can guess what their theme team is. So first Pokemon is going to be a Claw. So Claw's a pretty good type advantage for this team. So I went for a Dank Pulse there. Great damage. And watch this, right? So Claw had an Anger Shell, and it boosted up all those stats. But remember, I was actually holding a Mirror Herb. So I was like, that means I'm going to receive all the boosts that Claw just got. That was broken. That was absolutely broken. So I got everything. It works so well against, I think Claw's probably the best Pokemon that can, work against. So they tried to get a boost there with Metal Claw in their attack, and it didn't work. But, they were, I guess they were not expecting for me to get all those boosts either. So I can virtually go for anything to take out the Claw there. So some definite bad luck. So I was like, are we going to get a Houndoom sweep here? Next Pokemon we've got coming out is going to be Ekans. Ekans see clearly now. The rain has gone. It was raining a lot before, but I can now see clearly. You know what I'm saying? So I got that Dark Pulse. I don't know whether this is Sash or it's Everlight, but either way, it is going to get dropped in one shot. So that's 2 Pokemon down. We've got 2 more left. Next Pokemon we got here is going to be Terrapagus. I thought, oh, yeah, I won't one-shot this, but I should be able to do some pretty good damage to it. So I've got Fire Blast, and Fire Blast is going to hit the Terra Shell, right? I guess I was thinking if Terrapagus was ever in the future games, I guess you just wouldn't be able to have its terrestrial form, right? It'd still have its ability, but it just wouldn't have its other form. If it appeared, say if it appeared in Gen 10 or 11 or something like that. Oh, just something to think about. So Houndoom's going to go down. They've got Toxicor, which straight away tells me that they've probably got Facade on there, right? So bringing in my Houndour now, we got that counter set, and I've got Comeuppance. So I thought, well, I'd say I'll outspeed this, unless they got some sort of speedy set. So I went for counter, and of course it was Facade as well. Which I guess that was, I kind of knew from the item there. So that is the end of the Terrapagus. The cool thing about Mirror Coat and counter and stuff, they can bypass that Terra Shell too. They still do that raw damage 2 times, so you actually can one-shot that Pokemon. Last Pokemon is Goodra, which is not good. And I thought, well, they know I've got this. Let's go Destiny Bond here. They must think I've got some sort of troll move here, right? And they went for Rain Dance. I thought, yeah, I figured they'd probably guess I had something for that. So now it's raining. There's not much I could do. I could go counter here, but I could get some damage off, or I could swap it for later on and use the Decibond later on. So I thought, no, I'm going to swap out there. That's the beauty of that set, though. There was an option of using counter there against a slower Pokemon. So I brought my other Houndour in. I thought, if I get, attacked here, at least I'll be able to live on, I'll be able to live on 1 health. So it is raining again. It's raining and raining. I went for Super Fang here because I figured they guessed I'd go for Destiny Bond again, and then I got gooeyed. I probably should have gone for Destiny Bond there because they actually attacked this turn. So I was like, oh, I should have just attacked. So that is the end of my Houndour. It has gooey as the ability too. So I was thinking, you know, I was thinking it was going to be one of those rest and hydration rain sets. So I've got I've got Stellar Sucker Punch and I've got Psychic Fangs. I was like, well, I guess I'll go Stellar Sucker Punch. That should do a lot of damage and take out the Goodra, which won't be good, which will be good. It won't be bad, right? Because you don't want to say Goodra, but you don't want to say Badra either. So we got that. I don't know what I'm talking about, by the way. Anyway, we're gonna go for that Stellar Sucker Punch, and we got that Life Orb, and hopefully we can get some really, really thick damage. Unfortunately, speaking of thick with 4Cs, Goodra is going to be able to live that one, and it gooeyed me as well. I was like, oh, this is very, very bad. So Thunder from Down Under does a fair bit of damage, and we got a nice little, I got stuck in the Goodra slime there, so it outsped me. That is the end of Houndoom. So I've got that Houndour left from before. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going for Destiny Bond. I'm just going to go for Flamethrower, right? Because it's only got a bit of health left. That way it won't be a draw. But it was a pretty crazy battle from what turned around, from the Houndour having like a massive, ginormous advantage and then it dying to Terrapagus and then, me thinking they'd probably go for a different move kind of messed me up there. But anyways, it was a cool battle. Thank you for the battle, man. Let's get on to battle number 7. This is the random battle too. Not sure of my opponent's name, but they had a very powerful team. Now, they only chose to opt to bring 3 Pokemon because I think they were very, very confident they were going to win this battle, right? They brought the Koraidon. They thought, I'll just press A 4 times and win, But as you know, I like to have counters to those sort of things. Oh, look, the move counter. So I've got counter. I thought this will be great against Koraidon. They'll go for their little, Timmy. They even went for a Terra turn 1 against me. Like, the desperation was real. So I was like, I'll go for counter. I'll feint the Koraidon, and that'll be good. Then I can go Destiny Bond on the next Pokemon. That was the plan anyway. So instead of going for Collision Course, they went for Drain Punch, which is still a very good move on Koraidon. And that is going to put me on 1 health. But as you know, it doesn't matter what move they use. If it's going to put me on 1 health, it's going to get fired back at them 2 times. So that is the end of their Koraidon, and it's also the end of their Terra Pokemon too. So I hope they learned a valuable lesson there. You can't just press A and win. You actually have to make some effort. Next Pokemon here is going to be a White Kyurem, the Cheery. So I thought, this isn't bad. I could go for Destiny Bond here. They outsped me with Terra Blast. I was like, damn, that sucks. So Houndour was down there, so I couldn't get my other strategy off. So I thought, well, since it outspeeds me, I guess I could try for some damage here with Houndoom first. And, maybe I should keep my other Houndour in the back. That could be a good idea. I don't know what's going to happen there. So they swapped out their Pokemon. Scared of a Houndoom, obviously. And they brought in Flutterlane, right? So they're going to get their little ability, which is perfectly fine. So they got a Speed Rise. I was okay with that. So I went for Fire Blast here. Fire Blast did really, really good damage there, and I got a Burn. The Burn didn't really matter all that much, to be honest, because I had another Houndoom in the back with Sucker Punch, so it was kind of whatever. I was like, I know that I can take this out. Now, even if he went for a Moonblast or something and critted me and took me out, I'd be fine, right? So Houndoom does live that one, and Dank Pulse is going to take out the Flutterlane there. So the last Pokemon is the Kyurem White. So it goes to show you can't just bring the best Pokemon and expect to win, right? So I've got Houndoom now. Obviously, I don't expect to take this out at all. There's no way. I thought maybe I can get some Fire Blast damage and then swap in Houndour or something. So Fire Blast hits really, really hard. And I get another Burn, which is cool. But once again, it didn't really matter too much because, this seemed to be a special set. So they went for the Terra Blast, and that took out the Houndoom. So Houndoom was, in fact, it being burned was sort of detrimental because I wanted them to attack me to say, even a physical move, I would have liked that to do more damage for counter and stuff. However, my last Pokemon, as you know, is Houndour, and this completely and utterly counters this attacker. So all they have to do is attack me, and I can finish them. I've got comeuppance, and then they salty cancel. So there you go. Hope they learned a lesson there. Let's get on to battle number 8. This is a battle against Lucas. Another random. I think most of these were all random battles, maybe except for one. So first Pokemon here we got is a Terrapagus. So Terrapagus, as you know, is a bit of a pain, so I thought I could go for comeuppance here, but it's a bit of a mixed bag whether they run max speed on it or just run pure bulk. So they decided to run the pure bulk there. Now, I was thinking this would be a good idea to get Destiny Bond off, so I went for Destiny Bond. I was like, I want to see a Terrapagus faint at full health, right, without breaking its ability, and they went for Serve. That looked pretty cool when you use Serve. And Houndoom's going to faint there, so there you go. There is a way to bypass its ability, so you can do stuff like Destiny Bond, Counter, and Mirror Coat. So that is going to take it out in one shot, so ability did not matter, which is pretty cool. So that's down. So I thought, well, we'll bring in Houndour again, may as well. See if we can get rid of some Pokemon. In some of the battles, I wouldn't always bring Houndour, then Houndour. I would say maybe Houndour is my third Pokemon, but I didn't let Houndour be my last Pokemon because a lot of the time I had to use Destiny Bond on it, right? So in comes Luxray. I went for comeuppance and it had Thunderfang. What is the name of this Luxray? It's like, let me read that again. I don't even know what this means. I have no idea. If someone can enlighten me on some of these names, I have no idea. Anyway, so I went for Destiny Bond and they went for Thunder. And a miss. I was like, are you serious? So I was like, I could go for Counter, but what if they go for Thunder again? And that means, so, you know, I just swapped it out. I was like, I'm going to use that later on. So I went to Houndoom this time. So it's a mixed Luxray. It's got Thunderfang and Thunder. And they have Terra Blast. So Terra Blast won't do a lot of damage. And that was a crit though. So I've got Sucker Punch and Temper Flare. I thought about going for Howl here because Luxray's actually got some pretty good natural bulk to it. So I didn't expect to take it out, you know, with the physical Houndoom. So Thunderfang does a fair bit of damage to me there. Now I'm going to go for Temper Flare. I was like, this might be enough, but it doesn't quite take it out. It was very, very close. Then they went for Thunder, but Thunder misses this time. So Thunder Miss actually went, you know, my way this time. It was good that that missed, but it was bad that it missed before, you know. So I'm going to take that Luxray out, which is fine. It wasn't real. Let's be real. It wasn't really much of a threat there. I was more worried about Terrapagus. Next Pokemon is Charred Bambi? What? It's like that deer, that little deer, but that's mean. Anyway, so that's the end of Ceruledge. We had to get rid of that because it was, you know, it was roasting Bambi. And Houndour is going to go down to the Life Orb damage. So we got two Pokemon left. We got that Houndour on 1 HP from before. And we got the homie Rayquaza. So I was a little bit skeptical. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to outspeed this. Plus, it might have extreme speed anyway. So I was like, I've got nothing to lose. Let's just go Destiny Bond. So I did go first, which was definitely promising here. And Rayquaza is a special set. So Air Slash is going to crit me on 1 health. You know, that matters so much. So good thing is, Houndour is going to go down, and so is the Rayquaza. So that was good, because I would have struggled for damage against that for sure, you know. Rayquaza hits very, very hard too. So my last Pokemon I've got is Houndour, and we've got, what's Happy? Happy. They're not going to be happy after this. So that is the end of Meowscarter. That Fire Blast completely destroyed them. Very, very nice. Now we've got one more Pokemon left, and Ogerpon's the last Pokemon. Obviously I've seen a lot of Ogerpon. This was the normal Ogerpon this time, so I actually had the type advantage. So I thought I could go Terra here, but will it even matter? I just went Terra Grass anyway. I was like, let's go Terra Grass, and in case they've got something like Low Kick or something like that, that would be at least super effective. So we got that Terra Grass, and we got Fire Blast. I knew that Fire Blast would one-shot too. This is timid nature too, so getting some nice accuracy there and taking out the Ogerpon with Houndoom. But another interesting battle there. Another random person. Let's get on to our final battle today. Our 9th battle. Hope you're still watching. If you are you like? I think there's been some crazy battles, especially with this team, right? Our last battle, this one is against Oliver, and we have a Galvantula lead. So I've got no idea what Galvantula is going to do. It totally won't do Sticky Web. All right, there we go. So we got the Sticky Web there. That's fine. Now I've got Flamethrower on this set, so I at least can put Galvantula down to its Focus Sash, which is cool. Now, I've got the capacity to go for a Destiny Bond on the next Pokemon too, possibly. So, I've got Flamethrower again. They're going to go for Thunder, so they probably figure I've got a Sash as well. And, The only thing I was worried about there was maybe, a paralyze. That would have been very, very bad. And it didn't happen, which was good. A lot of the battles that I had with this team too were either really close battles with this one, or just really one-sided battles where the opponent would just set up Stealth Rock and have all the counters there and wouldn't have to work for it. So that's why a lot of these were this sort of way. So in comes the Samurai, and that's going to fade me with a razor shell there. So that's a bit unfortunate because I would have liked the Destiny Bond off there. So I thought, all right, we'll go into Houndoom here. The special one. Now, to get around this is going to be tough, right? Because remember, I really need to one-shot this or do some heavy damage. So I thought a good play here, and I also had another idea too, depending on what they brought too, because they didn't bring their whole team. So I thought I might be able to draw out another Pokemon after this, if I can feint the Samurai, right? So first things first, it is going to outspeed me, and it's going to drop my defense. But that didn't worry me all that much, because if I didn't feint it this turn, that was, kind of it for Houndoom. And I did. I took out the Samurai there, which is excellent. So it was definitely a sweeping set. Now, this is pretty funny, right? So the next Pokemon to come out here is going to be Emboar. And I was like, okay, I hope you do what I think you're gonna do, right? And they went for Flare Blitz. I was like, I had a feeling they might try and take the bait there, and they did. So they gobbled that shit hook, line, and sinker. So I'm gonna go for my attacking move there, because I figured I'd go for Fire Blast, right? I know that it's not super effective, but it's pretty powerful. So they were actually choice locked into Choice Band there, because that's a common Emboar set, right, with Rockhead. So they had no choice, they couldn't swap out, right? And it's not like they wanted to swap their last Pokemon in. So beautifully executed there. Last Pokemon on their team is going to be Excadrill. So Excadrill is a really, really good counter for my team here. So I thought, well, you've got Air Balloon, you're going to outspeed me. I can't do any more with this Houndour. Houndour did some great work there, but I am going to get outsped. So I've got my other Pokemon, which is Houndour with Sucker Punch. And I've got my other Houndour here as well. So I thought, all right, let's see what I could do here. So I've got Counter. I have a good feeling that it's going to use Earthquake here. It's just a common set. Considering what they've used so far, there hasn't really been anything surprising. So we've got a Terra here, which is going to be Terra Flying. Which is good on Extra. We can get around its ground weaknesses and stuff like that. And they've got an air balloon on top of that as well. So maybe they'll try to meme or something. So they've got the Earthquake, and I've got the Focus Sash there. So I just went for a Counter here, as I knew they'd go for a physical move. And Counter is going to be enough to take out the Excadrill. And that is the end of the battle. But Houndoom Flashfire really got me like a good lead in that battle. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, people. Drop a like if you did. Tell me what you think of Houndour and Houndoom. And this is my last team for a bit, so I'll catch you in a couple of days for some more vids. Peace out.